Hi all, and I just want to, in this video, I want to talk about the Old Testament and try to make people understand what is going on, especially the two religions which are Jewish and Christian Orthodox. Um, and so, uh, without further ado, basically, when Jewish people were oppressed, that's when God was really theirs, because He's always on the side of oppression. He fights against slavery. He doesn't want us to be tortured into submission and into obedience, or into. He wants obedience out of love. He doesn't want any kind of any kind of submission. So for this reason, it was even from the very beginning. This tree of knowledge is basically the tree in which we find out about the consequences of our deeds, of heaven and hell. Now, basically, I have been someone who has witnessed the pain of of sins. Now, I don't know if they're sins of humanity, and I've talked about this before. It's aggression, it is indifference, and this is right after I came from Jerusalem, where I was for a couple of days, and there I witnessed things that are unbelievable. You can take a look from they were unbelievable to me. And so after witnessing this energy that was at Jesus's place where he was crucified, the next day I did say I went to the Mother Mary's tomb, where I heard a woman who was crying, and it was so powerful that I almost fell on the ground. This does not happen to me usually, and I did next day go to the wall, the Wailing Wall, and there I did not. And so, okay. Anyways, I just kind of want the story to go before this turns into some kind of an animosity. It is not. It is out of total pure love that I'm trying to do this. So in the Old Testament, when the vengeance was released on the Egyptian pharaoh's children, it was a vengeance of God, and it was due to the fact that such behavior cannot go on. Thus, for the children are the continuation of what was going on, and it was going on for a long time, and God decided that no longer will His people, which are people who are in chains, enslaved, and submitted to some kind of a system, will no longer be occupied, but will be freed. And for this, the children, of course, pharaohs and Egyptians could have more children after that, but the lesson was that I tell you and I tell you and I tell you, and Moses performed miracles to prove that he comes from God, and nobody was listening. And then this happened, and it happened for a reason, to discontinue the oppression on another person. And so, from that very important lesson, and from freeing of the Jewish people of this slavery, now they came to the part where Jesus came, and of course the Pharaohs, or of course the Pharisees, that did not accept him. That was because in their deep belief, which is rooted in for so long, was it was rooted that somebody will come who is a warrior. And Jesus was not this warrior because God... Okay, so yeah, okay, of course, they doubt that he was sent from God. Now in Jerusalem, and before and after, I have a definite reason to think otherwise. So this is very important because I have a deep respect for Jewish people and their accomplishments. Jewish people are incredible in so many ways, and they have contributed to our society in so many ways that no other nation or group of people have ever done as much. Never. There is not. It's not even close. So for this reason, I do want to mention a couple of things that are, and so when I went to the Wailing Wall and I didn't feel God's presence, I was shocked. I really was, and I was confused. I was totally confused, and then I went, after I came back to Serbia, I went to the monastery, and there I found out about the sin of indifference, which is weird actually. A sin of indifference and the sin of aggression. And so how can I connect this? Obviously Jesus was not somebody who was just helping his own people, he was somebody who was helping everybody. So indifference, is it material indifference? This is not only connected to Judaism, the fact that certain people do gather a lot of funds which can serve to help others. I also heard that money does not save us. It can help us, but it does not save anybody. And this is true, obviously, if you think about it. Money can help certain people, but it doesn't save them. They're not saved because they have it. Even though we do think we are here, it kind of guarantees our survival, right? And Jesus obviously thought there was more than survival here, and there was a battle for the eternal, and all these rules, and it's very important to understand how strict and how obedient Jewish people are, and this is why I'm saying this. This is the only reason. How obedient, and Muslims also. They are they're very dedicated to their faith, where Christians are not, and so their dedication, though, is does it deserve to be a complete dedication? Now, we're speaking about levels here. There is a hierarchy in heaven as there is a hierarchy in hell. So basically, it depends on how good we are or how bad we are to other people. So the more we hurt, the worse we get, the worse it becomes for us, because God is the one who loves us, all of us. So the fact that we separate and that we go to war, and Jewish people had this very rare privilege because they were oppressed throughout. And people, even like when they go to India, they say, "Oh, it's very spiritual." And when they go to certain places, it's spiritual. There's always, God is always where there is suffering. Yes. So while when they were suffering, God was with them. When they were not, the Jewish people. It's very important to understand that not only your suffering matters. So when your suffering becomes you no longer suffer, you should remember that you did way back when, and you should try to make it so that other people don't suffer, because you understand the feeling. You understand the feeling of suffering, like because you felt it. Your whole. It's very important. It's good for you. It makes you. It teaches you. Suffering teaches you, and that's why I believe, because of that of that, and their look back to history, that they have become so learned and so valued and so intelligent and full of prospect. It is because of this suffering that they've endured, not only them personally through their schools, but their generations that they look back on through their ancestry. And so we come to the part where they've become very, not powerful, but influential, because of the means that Jewish people now have. They have certain authority because they have money. So in a sense, they became, and this proves to be true in this Gaza conflict. And basically, I mean, it's important to understand that there was peace. I mean, I was in the streets of Jerusalem, but I mean, there were like guards with machine or automatic weapons, but I haven't witnessed any kind of, and then all of a sudden the tragedy breaks, and now some people don't see it as tragedy; they see it as some kind of some kind of unraveling of we should finally have our land, and nobody disputes this. I mean, I don't understand why people have to be totally obliterated for some land to be had in the middle of the desert. I mean, can we have all the countries that are around there just agree that some of the part of their land will belong to Palestine, and some other ones will agree that part of their land will belong to Israel? Do we really have to? This is bad, and anybody involved anybody who knows, and everybody knows this, and who doesn't condemn it, is part of the mechanism that's taking place. And the mechanism is that we had enough of this. We can't take this anymore. We're going to take extreme measures and get rid of a population of people, and nobody cares. And nobody cares is because of the influence of the U.S. and blah blah whatnot. And I just want to say this is wrong according to God. And maybe I knew that I really didn't want to speak of this. This is terrible for me because there is a certain respect that I always had. I mean, I have respect for everybody, but I mean, Jewish people have special kind of respect in my mind because of the success. However, all that can turn them into just useful fools here. It doesn't mean that that it is also important, and even if you're completely separated from this war, and you have a practice, and you're very successful, and you're helping people, which is good. Again, useful fool is somebody who helps people, but helps them for their own reason, doesn't help them for the sake of helping them, but helps them for gaining certain money. I mean, this shouldn't be the primary reason. The primary reason is that you're helping others, just like God helped you. And I don't know. I mean, how well this fits in. I don't want to make any kind of a sudden, kind of break from what you believe, because I will lose you. But it's very important to know that God, like this Messiah of war and of a soldier, is not a Messiah that we need. I know this is hard to understand, but it's not really if you have any compassion for people other than your own people, and that might be a problem and because it so seems that in this fear, Jewish people have separated from, I guess, the rest. I hope this is not the case, and I mean, and they expand their influence because they have so much to offer. But that they don't do it, and they do, but that they don't do it for their own gain or for collecting, because money in the end, I said, God judges you on how many people remember you, and not how much you earn. Obviously, anything material will be transferred to your children, I guess, and but this immense wealth probably goes then to things that are not good, and they should be used to educate others, not just your own, everybody. If you have the means, of course, those ones close to you can be first in line. However, many people here have means way beyond what anything that their family actually requires. And if this is the case, this does not only apply to this applies to everybody. So this is just something that nobody does. Nobody does this. Christians, they don't do this. They don't. Very few you'll see that created universities where they can divide from themselves for the sake and maybe school some people who don't have the means to be schooled, and educate, obviously, or help survive people so that they can grow into something worthy, because we're all worthy. And I think this is the reason why I witnessed what I witnessed, because of these two things, and I know that this may be hard, but it's better to understand now than to understand later. This is my deep belief, that I'm not, that I know I am. I'm trying to help you with this, and I'm trying to help everybody. Christianity does not help people, but it is in there. It is in the book. And so, he doesn't have to say too much about that, because it's been told, and they've accepted as faith. You have not. And I wonder why that's so. And you have to wonder why that's so. It's not me who can say anything to anybody. I can just kind of, hear that this needs to be said, and I've said it, and how you decide to go about it is completely up to you. I just really, because you do know there is God, and you do know there is, you don't accept eternal life. No, but yeah, but you do have a cemetery. I see. I don't follow much. I haven't read much from. I have read the Old Testament, but there is a cemetery that's close to the day of when those will be risen. So you do, and there is, and I have witnessed, like, of flesh and bone, place, and the girl from which I fell, obviously, because I was trying to test the ground, and what I witnessed even prior to Jerusalem. You can look in some of my videos, but I do hope that you do not disregard that some of the aspects of Jesus' teaching are essential and are God's, because somebody who gave birth to everybody, he doesn't want us to see us in pain. He doesn't want to see us in pain, and here there's an enormous amount of pain that he has to witness, and for this witnessing, he does ultimately punish, just as in the Old Testament. You stated that you cannot, they cannot continue that way. This obviously took like 600 years of torture for Jewish people, which is I guess he couldn't even bear it anymore. And since he is very patient, and he gives us every opportunity, and just in your own soul, this is something that has to click, and it's individual, and considering how faithful you want to be, and because of that, and because of my need to be faithful to him, I share this with you, and hope that you do not consider it to be any kind of criticism, but an upgrade to who you are, by taking into consideration that you don't really need all this, and somebody who does is suffering because of lack of funds, and lack of food, and lack of education. And this is not about everybody. This is about here and there, how much you can based on your means. It will open up perhaps something, part of you, which is so extraordinary, because it is perhaps the final part that we're missing, and we're always looking for that completeness, and we're never complete. So I don't accuse anybody. We all have our shortcomings, but I do try to be at the highest level. We have to, as you do. This is how it is with me and God. I do try to get, to be at the highest level, and to be as complete as I can when I stand before Him. And I wish the same for you. Thanks.